Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the DRFBets race of the day for Friday, June the 14th. Race number 3 at Santa Anita. We kick off the pick 6 with a very intriguing 1-mile turf race. There's an optional claimer for some salty veterans. Of course, you can bet the pick 6 with DRFBets, but you want to play the race of the day because of the money back guarantee. Bet $7 to win on any one horse in the race of the day, and if your selection finishes second or third, you get your money back. Promos.drf.com is where you go for all the details. Let's meet this field for race number 3 at Santa Anita on Friday. Download those free Formulator Pass performances on the Race of the Day event page and handicap along with us as we'll take the field in post position order. Matt, the number 1 is Higher Power, and after he won at the fairgrounds in March, he was purchased at public auction for $250,000 by some very shrewd connections. They ran him in the Gold Cup. He was far from embarrassed going 1.25 miles, and now he tries turf with some pedigree.
Tries turf with some pedigree, puts the blinkers back on. I found that to be an interesting move because to me anyway, it felt like when you take a look at his overall body of work, he improved when the blinkers came off. But it will be interesting to see how he handles this. For what it's worth, it hasn't been a spectacular angle for John Sadler. Granted, John Sadler's barn is just rolling along right now, and I wouldn't throw this horse out because of something like this. But first time turf, second after the bench, not really a strong move for him. And it just makes me wonder a little bit, at a short price, is this an opportunity to try to fade him? But to be honest, if you don't like anybody else in the field, I mean, he's kind of the unknown, the wild card in here.
Medaglia d'Oro, his sire, wins with 11% of first-time turf runners. The Dam was a multiple stakes winner going 11 furlongs on the weeds, and she's foaled a multiple stakes winning turf horse Interrupted. This was worked with Giftbox on June the 9th, so it looks like he's in good form right now. Giftbox apparently heading for the Stephen Foster on Saturday. Let's move on to the number 2, Ritzy AP, one of 2 long layoff horses in this race for trainer Danny Blacker. We haven't seen Ritzy AP in 257 days. I like the middle distance for him. I don't like the layoff.
I agree with you there. I've always been a fan of this horse. I think it's nice that Flavien Prat takes them out. There's a part of me that finally is acknowledging that maybe he's not going to ever turn into what I had hoped he was going to at one point. I do think he's interesting if you think he's ready to go off this long layoff, but admittedly, that is a major concern.
Take a look at this Timeform U.S. pace projector for this race. It's a new designation. No speed. Now, the first time I saw this was the 2-mile Belmont Gold Cup, and I understood, hey, there's no speed in that race full of European horses. I perfectly understand. This is a 1-mile turf race in Southern California. This can be a very important designation, Matt, no speed, because it could help the horses up front, obviously, but also hurt the logical favorite in this race, Liam the Charmer, the 3.
Absolutely, and I think it's an interesting new designation to keep an eye on going forward, because this is the kind of race where you do look at it and say, sure, there are some horses that can sit a few lengths off, but there are no confirmed front runners in here, and I think it could, like you say, compromise a horse like Liam the Charmer, who we haven't seen since February. He ran over in Cutter. Okay, it is what it is. You took a shot there. This is a horse that on his best day is graded stakes caliber against better horses as well. I thought his run in the San Gabriel was just fine 2 starts back. I'm not going to hold the Breeders' Cup against him, and he's a graded stakes winner 4 runs back. I do wonder a little bit about the distance. I think I'd like him a little bit longer. Maybe this is a means to an end, but from a class standpoint, I think he's the most likely winner in the race.
A couple of very fair points you make about the distance. Remember, this is his first start since February. Maybe they're just trying to get him going. And second, the lack of pace. If there truly is no speed and Liam the Charmer is attempting to come from where the Timeform U.S. pace projector has him, he could be in trouble at a short price. Nice purchase this horse. Madigan Stables bought him for $100,000 at the end of 2017. They've gotten their money back. They've also got a graded stakes win, and he's taken them all over the world. He's always been a nice horse, Liam the Charmer. Let's move on to Double Touch, the other of the Dan Blacker layoff horses. This one's been away 251 days, and he really in fire in the Grade 2 City of Hope last time out, but that was a key race. One of the also-rans came back to win a stake at Aqueduct with a 98 Beyer speed figure. My main concern is not the distance. I actually think he is a pure miler. It's just that he has no speed. I'm very surprised that he is in front of Liam the Charmer, because to me he's a 1-run closer.
No, I agree with that. And you go to that run 2 starts back when he won the Wicker. I have written into my formulator notes. There was just a wicked pace signed on that day, and he took advantage of it, came from way out of it. And maybe he wasn't compromised, or maybe he wasn't exposed in that City of Hope mile. But at the same time, I don't think he's quite that level. I agree with you. This distance isn't an issue for me. It's just more a matter of what kind of setup is he going to get in here. And I find it hard to believe that he's sitting third when it's all said and done. But look, again, it's a race that doesn't have much in here. It's going to be up to the riders to sort of make a decision one time or another.
Blended Citizen certainly has credentials. He is a graded stakes winner on dirt, he is a graded stakes winner on synthetic, and he is one on the turf. His most recent start was his first race off a long layoff, going down the hill in the Clocker's Corner. It was a distance way too short for him. He caught a very fast horse in Conquest Tsunami, another one in Eddie Haskell, who's come back to run 3 times, Byers 98, 99, and a 100 when winning the Daytona, a grade 3. That race looked like a prep, and they were going to run him in the Kilrow on March the 9th. And I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed we didn't see him in the Kilrow, and that we haven't seen him in almost 6 months.
Well, and that's the biggest part is that, we saw that entry in the Clocker's Corner and we said nothing more than a means to an end. You bring up that Kilrow, which was about, 6-7 weeks later. The problem is when he doesn't show up there, you would assume he's going to get brought back at some point. Boy, now here we are midway through June and he's finally getting back on the beam. To me, it's another instance where let's see a race off the bench. Let's see what he does for you. I don't want to be taking him at a shorter price because, look, he's still a name that people are familiar with for all the reasons you laid out. Graded stakes winner 2 times over. To me, let's just see what he can do. And then maybe down the road, whether we get to Del Mar or into the fall, maybe he'll be a player in these middle distance races.
But he seems to be training pretty well. Looks like he got some unwanted company with Mopetism on May 31st. And our old friend Mopetism ran pretty well against some salty competition in New York last week. Let's take a look at our top selections in this race. And Matt, I think you're hoping for the no speed designation. Norberto Arroyo has been on fire lately. He really has been riding very well in Southern California. When Souter wants to go early, he can go early. What happened last time in the San Francisco Mile?
Well, I think a couple things. It started off with that post position, breaking from 9 out of 10, not ideal in a race where probably from a class standpoint, he was up against it a little bit. He was very wide going into that first turn, trailing the field. And like you say, there have been instances where he's been closer to the pace, which I think is going to be beneficial for him here in this race on Friday afternoon. And then rounding the far turn, I don't know if it was actually what the short comment says, where he jumped tracks. I thought there was a horse that sort of blew out in front of him, which caused him to potentially stumble. It looked like it could have gone really, really poorly. It's good that no one went down and nothing bad happened. But to me, it's essentially just a non-effort. I'm drawing a line through the San Francisco Mile and hoping that he can get back to that run that he was on, because this horse just continued to cruise along through different conditions. And again, I'm hopeful that perhaps the best is still yet to come for this horse, where maybe we know what most of these other runners are.
Nice win at this distance over this course. 3 back, pace pressing win, 2 starts back. If I'm Arroyo, I just put him on a send, get to the front, control the pace. You have to deal with a lot of layoff horses that may not be ready. This horse has the recency advantage over many of the opponents in this field, and he might be a good price over kind of an ugly looking line that you could draw a line through. As you mentioned, I think Liam the Charmer, if he fires his best shot, is the most likely winner of this race. I don't want to take a short price on him. I'm not sure if I'm really excited in betting this race of the day. I just think if Liam the Charmer can stay within close range of a very slow pace, and this turns into a 3-furlong sprint, maybe Liam the Charmer's just got more of a kick than the rest of this field. Give me numbers.
I went 6-3-2.
I'm going to go 3-4 in the 1 mile turf race, which is our DRFBets race of the day for Friday, June the 14th. Take advantage of our money back guarantee. Take our money, please. Bet $7 to win on any one horse in our race of the day. And if your selection finishes second or third, you get your money back. Promos.drf.com is where you go for all the details and the approximate post time for the third at the Great Race Place, kicking off the Pick 6 on Friday, 2 o'clock Pacific. Best of luck.